Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, with my co-host, Corbin, and today we have Lucky Token on Hedera with the CEO himself, Lucky. It is a true honor to have you, and we look forward to everything you have in the near future with your project, Lucky. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks. I'm fine, and it's very nice to be here.
Amazing. Cool. So let's start. What is Lucky Token?
All right. So Lucky Token is a token I minted back in, it was like June or July 2022. I burned all keys. The supply is low, 7,777,777 tokens. And it has no decimals. So the smallest amount of Lucky you can transact is one Lucky token. And I airdropped about 10% of it and just put the rest in the LP, kept 1% of the supply to myself. So it's like nearly all of it is in circulating supply at the moment. And I kind of organically found a team with cool guys from the community, and we started to develop use cases for it. We started with a basic raffle that people could join, and then we'd pick a winners once per day, depending on how many people played. And then we started to really look into how can we make a fair and transparent way of gambling. And roulette was the easy way to do it. And I think a game that is simple to understand for users. And then we started to make our Discord bot, and yeah, there's a lot. We are exploring gaming and gambling on Hedera, so it's like been quite a wild ride.
Definitely,
yeah.
It takes time, and it's definitely a learning curve that you have to overcome because it's all kind of new. I mean, everybody who's doing it now is really just kind of at the beginning stages of the whole entire gaming industry on Hedera. And there's a lot to learn and a lot that will be learned in the near future. And just development overall will continue to get bigger and better.
I agree completely. And one thing I love about Hedera is the flexibility of the platform and the network itself. And there are a few completely unique features that we utilize. The token service is the most straightforward and simple, but the more interesting one is the Hedera consensus service, because the guaranteed timestamps, the fair ordering, is really big. We don't really have to keep track of who sent and what, because it's all fairly ordered there, and then we can do some magical scripts and stuff on the back end, and then get a lot of data out of it, and it's really cheap and efficient to do. And that's something that just as when back this year started and there was not a lot of happening in Hedera, I didn't know the potential and power of those features and tools. But now then there's tokens and dApps and NFT projects, and there's new stuff coming up, and people utilizing the network in completely new ways. That's something really exciting for me and us as a team.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, the thing I really like about you guys too is the games that you actually already have. So roulette isn't that common in the HBAR ecosystem, and especially your horse racing stuff, really, really cool.
Yeah, I think we wanted our first games to be a good examples of things, and roulette is a good example of how you can use the Hedera consensus service to derive numbers, and the Discord horse racing Lucky Studs is a good way to showcase how Web3 can be a community centered, and they can be activity, and Discord is a great way to show it because it's very flexible in the way you can create a bot and all the notifications and all the possibilities are endless with it, but it all takes time, and we really want to make sure that we produce a polished and quality product for the community to use.
Of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's great. I just thought of a really cool idea that would be cool to implement. It was like, what if you more or less created different types of variant horse NFTs that would be used to be able to race? So you're racing, rather than just a number or a color, you're racing your own horse that has its own attributes.
Yeah, that is something that we have thought as a team, and certainly something that the whole you have NFTs, and you can like change the game depending on how you equip your NFTs and such, is something we definitely want to like delve into and implement to our games. But that barrier is something that we are not really yet going to take that step, because there are something more important things to do to be able to scale and then add those backwards. I think that's
it's a lot easier said than done.
Yes, it's easier said than done.
A lot of development.
Yeah. And we have a small development team. It's really, we have a good team dynamic, and really we have learned a lot and taught each other a lot during these last few months. It's like it hasn't been even 6 months, and we have gone a long way. I was just looking at the Metrica transactions for the past year of all tokens from the past year, and Lucky is in number 8 currently.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, that's really. Yeah. I was like surprised to see it that high, considering it's the whole past year.
And you haven't even been around for, you said, 6 months.
Yeah,
right?
It's end of July when I was started to airdrop the token, and then it suddenly went viral, and we had to adapt and ride the wave. But it's really cool, and I'm really excited going into the 2023. We have Sauce Swap just a few weeks ago released the farm for Lucky Token. There's the Sauce Lucky Farm, and I think that's really exciting. A cool way for people to like make their investments grow if they don't like the gambling aspect, but they want, financially invest in a project. And then we also, I'm not sure if you guys know it, but we have our own NFT. It's the Lucky Token Winners Club NFT. And we sent those to players who achieved the jackpot in the Lucky Roulette. So you bet the maximum amount of tokens and then choose a single number. And when you win, you get the exclusive NFT and a place in the Lucky Token Winners Club. There's only 777 NFTs available. And it's a lifetime membership.
Very exclusive.
Yeah, very exclusive and lifetime membership. Currently, it's promises for the future, but it's something that, because I think it's like our kind of private club, and I really want to treat its members so going forward. So I want to keep it that way. Those are I keep those close to my heart. Special people, every one of those.
Nice.
Sure. So
you mind?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think we're about to ask the same question, Corbin.
Well, I was going to ask about the LELP or the LELP.
You were going to ask about that, and I was going to ask about the endless liquidity.
Yeah, the same thing. All right.
Yes.
Same thing, yeah.
So it's a thing where we get the treasury gets all the tokens that people are sending to the like roulette and playing, and eventually, given due time, the treasury will like outgrow its share of tokens compared to all other wallets. It acts as a kind of burn mechanism. So the supply gets tighter, but we will not like infinitely burn those tokens. They will be added back to the liquidity pool, and that's something that will happen in the future, because now it's time to let the treasury grow and the supply get a little tighter. And then we will start growing the HBAR Lucky liquidity pool by swapping through Sauce. And currently that liquidity pool is not that big because there's no farm from SocialSwap, so people mostly go to where there's good rewards. But the liquidity pool is still something that is a long-term goal, and why that LELP exists and what's the main utility and reason for it, it's we want for people and players of our games the assurance that they own the tokens, they are their tokens, and they have the reserve to exchange it back to any other token or currency they want. And currently through SOS and HBAR is the most safe way to do it through SocialSwap, because those two tokens, in my opinion, are really strong plays going into the future. I can trust that those tokens will appreciate as well as like stay. They won't rug, so to speak. So it's safe to like create a liquidity pool around it.
Sure. You have a nice little diagram on the green paper how the Lucky Endless liquidity pool works.
Yeah.
There's a nice little like rundown.
Yeah. It's very self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's that we are able to add back into the liquidity pool without ever withdrawing from the pool, so it only gets deeper. And that's kind of a smart thing. And you can only do it when you have 3 different liquidity pools where one is independent of the token. That's the HBAR source pool that doesn't interact with a Lucky at all.
Yeah.
But it's...
I also love that there's some like fine print below it that says, as the LELP deepens, it allows more room for whales to swim around.
That's very clever.
Yeah, and I think we really like try to make it like a bit tongue-in-cheek, so it's not all that serious, because we're still in the community and we like to meme it up, and we know we have no outside backing. This is all done like garage style, this is very indie. This is very, small grassroots thing. So we can like push the envelope a little in our green paper and such. But we are very serious. This is something that we have serious long-term plans and goals ongoing. I'm not planning on stopping this. I'm only planning on investing more of my effort and time into this and making it a legacy for Hedera. I think Hedera needs cool things, and I think we are building cool things.
I agree. Now, bouncing off of what you just said, you have long-term goals. What are some of those goals?
Well, the scalability of our product is one of the most important ones, but it's also to implement like these traditional gambling games, like roulette is one, but we also want to do card games and dice games and other things. And we want to make it so people trust the Hedera consensus service and Hedera services to make the game fair, to make that there's no middleman, to like make sure that the odds are what we say that they are, and people can self-check them afterwards. So there's... The only way we could be fraudsters would be if Hedera would somehow become fraudulent and not work as they advertised. That's something I think the whole Web3 community needs, is like a fun activity, and gambling is it has a large market share and a large potential audience. And when it's done right, correctly, like when it's done so that people can really trust it, and when their tokens are immutable, nobody has control over the winnings, I think that then achieves the best possible. It hits the sweet spot that people feel really rewarded with their tokens, and when they can trust the games, it creates a good feedback loop, so people can play more and spread the games around more, that hey, there's Lucky Roulette and such, and it's pretty clever how it works. And one thing that I wanted to achieve, and we all wanted to achieve, is to like move the trust away from us individuals to the Hedera as a larger entity. Because if only we few guys are to be trusted with a global decentralized gambling thing, I think that's too much even for me. But when it's Hedera people trust, then it's a lot off of our shoulders. And I think it's easier for people to accept and use their tokens to gamble then as well.
Yeah, that's always one of the big things if you go to like a regular casino is what are the odds here? Are they being transparent? Like are they trying to specifically skew it in their direction so they can just make a bunch of money off you, which I think most casinos do that. Yeah. So having this small little community mindset and then burning all the tokens and just being transparent about everything, I think is the best thing you could have done, honestly, to help grow and help, garner trust.
Yeah, it's mostly been a trust exercise. Like most of all, as the social aspects have really been something that's taught me a lot. Before this year, I wasn't really engaged in the Discord community and was mostly just doing my own research. I have known for what Hedera is for a long time, and overall what crypto is and what ledgers are and how it all kind of works. But I have never really been as engaged as with Lucky, and it's been completely different. And I really love the community, the like overall hype and energy of the community is something else. It keeps me going, and us all really get.
It's unmatched.
Yeah, it's unmatched.
Yeah,
high energy.
Yeah, never ending either.
Yeah, a lot of great memes too.
Yeah. So with the whole entire process of more or less developing out the Lucky Token ecosystem, what's been one of the easiest things for you to accomplish? And then we can correlate what's been one of the most difficult things for you to accomplish.
Well, the easiest things to accomplish is like implementing the button that's basically send us tokens. That's like if you really break it down to what it is making a really nice looking button that people click and then they send us tokens, and then something might happen. Yeah, will happen if you guess correctly. That's been like if you boil it down, it's been really simple. But the most difficult thing is there's been lots of things, but I'd say it's been making compromises with people. It's something kind of new to me, but it's something that has taught me a lot. And as there's a lot going behind the scenes, not everything goes public, but I think those are some that have made the most impact to me and my like mental health and us overall. But those are our teaching moments, and we have learned a lot from those. I think
it's really all that matters is that you're learning.
Yeah, and improving. That's something we plan to do all the way through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nice.
Very cool.
Do you plan on implementing Lucky into other ecosystems, or maybe say with collaborations like with other NFT projects?
Yes.
Like, do you ever plan on going outside of Hedera? Is that first question. And then do you ever...
The first question, the answer to that is no, because I hold no ownership over the token at all. And I don't feel it's correct for me to do kind of a fork to another network. And I think I really want to keep it Hedera native, and actually it's impossible to do on other networks because no other network offers finality and the Hedera consensus service. So even if we went to other chains, we would still have to use the Hedera consensus service. So it's kind of a take 2 steps forward and then take those 2 steps back kind of an approach. So we are exploring things that are unique to Hedera and its services. And really want to demonstrate the unique ways. And what's, you asked about the NFT collaborations. yes, that's something we definitely are open to, but it's something that we don't currently have a good avenue to do it, or like a good project to do it with. But when the time comes, we will make a way for collaborations to happen. Yes, but there are some little things coming up here and there, like the Sausage Swap farm was a kind of a neat collaboration, and there might be something else coming up. But like anything that we initiate, that's something we want to do, but not something that is a priority right now.
For sure.
Like something I think would be really cool if we make like a game. You know, kind of we have the horse racing game, so it would be kind of cool if other projects could send like their designs to there and have like dead pixels racing some baboons and crabs, and having like all these different projects there racing. So it's kind of a medley of those. That kind of thing would be fun. But as for like spreading and minting NFTs, that's something that we don't have the development time right now. But it's
that makes sense. Yeah.
How big is the team?
It's currently me and two others. It's the main team. So it's me and ABFT FTW. He works with Social Swap as well. And our coder is HBAR. He's from the community, a known community member, but he's not that visible there. But he has done a lot for the community for the past year. Coded a cool Discord game and really has brought this whole thing together. We couldn't have done anything without him. He is magical, has over 20 years of game developing experience, and I think we have a great dynamic together. Good developers are really tough to find, and developers who are willing to develop on Hedera exclusively are even more difficult to find. So he is definitely someone we really appreciate having on board. But small team, we are currently on a lookout for another experienced developer, but as said, it's a really difficult find.
Yeah.
Yeah, with finding somebody who's been in game development for 20 years and will do Hedera, I guess you can say you got lucky.
Yes, you could say that.
Smooth. Very smooth.
Thanks. Yeah. No, but you're not joking though. Like the amount of people that are willing to do that have already had a ton of experience in other, relatively similar spheres it's not a lot. Like you could probably count them on both your hands.
Yeah, it's a small it's a small list. Yeah, currently, but I think builders really are the ones who are deciding the direction that Hedera is heading. Not only the enterprise builders, but the retail builders as we are, and we are really keeping it like as indie as possible. We really want to make our own thing happen and showcase our own, like pave our own way through this whole new Web3 thing, and we can use trust of Hedera to like skip a lot of complicated things that would be a problem in a Web2 world. So it kind of reminds me a lot of early internet days when there were no rules. Like people could do anything and have their own websites, and this like new Web3 era reminds me a lot of that how it used to be, and like we can really do lots, and then trust Hedera to do their thing, and then it's really solving the other half of the trust, just like Lehman himself had said such and such time ago. But it's really wonderful.
Praise Lehman.
Yeah, praise Lehman.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that, and the fact that everybody's building out their own things right now, and we don't know who the winners and the losers are going to be. We don't know who's going to potentially rug. We don't know who's going to go to like who's going to be the first project to go to like $1 million HBAR floor price or something just nutty like that. So you never know.
We already saw that, Corbin. Metavision
no.
Just went to $1 million.
Oh, right. That's right. I don't know how they orchestrated that. That is well done. Well,
impressive.
Well played, Metavision.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you look at like pets.com, for instance, that used to be, a either million or $1 billion, website. And then they went under for whatever reason. I think the funds were mismanaged or something like that. But, it's only a matter of time before we start seeing who's here to stay and who's, unfortunately going to go by the wayside. But the way that you laid everything out with this, it's super good. It's really
good. One thing I like to do when checking out projects is, do they have a token? If so, what kind of keys do they have to their token? And is there a reason for those keys to be? What's the supply? Like, what does the token feel like? What does it look like? And a lot of tokens choose to have quite a large supply, like 1 billion. Around 1 billion is, I see a lot of projects push it real high. Like Source has it, and like this. There's few new games coming up. And that, I think, what makes Lucky so different is the small supply of it. Because there's no decimals to divide it. It kind of acts kind of a multiplier to whatever token it's paired to. Currently, it's like a source.
It actually has value.
Yes, it's really something once you really start to think about it. And the more you think about it and the different aspects of it, the no keys really bumps the value up, because when the user has the keys in their wallet, nobody, not even if the Hedera governing council, everyone agreed to remove those tokens, they couldn't, because there's no keys to do it. So that's really something, I think it's impressive. And then there's utility on top of it. You just don't buy it and it sits in your wallet. You can actually go and do stuff with it, like interact with the network and cause traffic and actually maybe make some gains out of it. And the more avenues and ways we create for the token to be used, to be utilized, then I think the velocity of the token will be greatly increased. And we will see, as we release more products and games, we will see the velocity go up exponentially. Hopefully, if people like our games and we can deliver our vision to reality, that's always something to consider.
Yeah.
But I'd say the next 6 to 18 months are really decisive for a lot of projects, ours included. I don't think it's
going to make or break a lot.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's like a sure thing. Nothing is a sure thing. Anything could happen. But it's something that I'm really putting, and we as a team are putting all of our effort into making reality, because it's something we all agree that what we have here is a once in a lifetime chance to do a project properly.
And it's really exciting that you have that mentality, because I know a lot of other projects in the space have the same exact mentality, and it's a great one to have. Because if you look at it with that perspective, there's no chance of really failing, because you don't have any sort of self-doubt, nor do you have any really sort of chance of giving up on your vision. Therefore, I mean, if you never give up, you never have failed.
Yeah, that's the only way for us to fail is if we stop and do nothing.
Just give up.
Yeah. If we give up, then it's over. But unless we do that, then there's always a chance. And I think what we have, people like the games. People love the roulette. There's like activity. People are playing it every single day. And I keep looking through the transactions and checking who wins the jackpots and sending the NFTs and managing all this social aspect of it and getting people into the club. And
the engagement.
Yeah, it's been funny, and
that's a big factor.
It's a funny thing, because I as a person myself, really since the past 10 years, I always thought that I never want to be a social media influencer. I really never want to be a personality, but here we are. But I have grown a lot since I thought that way and become a different person. But it's cool, and I can't wait to like share more of things. We have a lot like in the planning, but I really don't want to share anything that's not concrete yet. Like when it starts to become more real, then I can share more of it. Because
we'll get you back on.
Yeah. But I will assure that you will hear us a lot in 2023 going there.
It's very exciting. You have a bright future ahead. And I look forward to everything that's soon to be developed and to everything that's already being developed. Because from what you say and how you articulate everything, it just seems that whoever's invested into your project can be confident about their investment.
Yeah, and if there's any questions, they can just come straight up and ask me about it. Exactly. I have a really...
transparency.
Really quite high uptime on those discourse and such. One thing I want to mention, I really didn't touch upon this, is like the way the roulette, like why we use the consensus service. Like I want to make this a point here, because the Hedera, when you submit the transaction, you get 2 timestamps. You get the transaction timestamp when you send the transaction to the network, and then you get the consensus timestamp when all the nodes agreed that the transaction went through. The former timestamp you can manually set. If you do a script, you can set, I want to set it at this exact time, so you send the transaction at that time. That timestamp can be gamed. But the other one, when the network reaches consensus, that cannot be gamed and is like an outside modifier, but it's fair to everyone. It's everyone, when you send a transaction, the consensus is extremely fair to put it in fair order, and no 2 consensus timestamps can be the same. So then we use that as a seed for the numbers. So no matter where, it eliminates a lot of the trust process, because it's
like a self-auditing system,
and that's something that I have tried to look at how it's done. Like how do you generate random numbers? And it's really difficult. It's like really difficult process to do, but we have found a really elegant way of doing it through Hedera. Like the actual code is like awesome. 10 lines of script to do it. It's really awesome. That's awesome. That's really simple. That's the beauty of it. We have found like a cool way to do it, and
it's very exciting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is, and it's something.
I mean, you've answered.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Ask me.
You've answered all my questions. I mean, I feel as if we asked plenty of meaningful questions, and I mean, Lucky, if there's anything else out there you'd like to.
I actually just thought of one.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So, I just want you to reiterate to people how big it is that you have burned your keys. Like what? Like why do that? Obviously, so that way somebody can't just wipe everything, because that would be terrible. Yeah. But I would assume also so that way they can't add more supply. But is there any other sort of aspect to that?
Those are the 2 most important ones. The first one is that people can look at the supply and be assured that the supply is what it states it is. It's just a bit under 8 million, and it will always be just a bit under 8 million. And then when all the other keys are burned, you the only one who decides what happens to your tokens is yourself. It's complete self-governance. No one can do anything outside of your control to your tokens, and that is something that even if any of those keys to exist, let me just check out what those are. Real.
And while you're doing that, I totally didn't even realize that I had my freaking XRP hat on right now since our last podcast. I'm gonna change that one.
No, it's fine. So wipe key, that's like really scary one to have you look at the token, associate, it has the wipe key there. The developer can just like delete my tokens. That's bad. Freeze and pause key. those two are like pretty scary too. You know, you can suddenly just get frozen. Your transactions, you can't move those tokens. That's kind of bad. And supply is another. You don't want your supply to be diluted. Like imagine we have just a bit under 8 million, but now imagine we minted 700 million more of the token. Like that would absolutely destroy the whole. That will just rug the whole thing.
Yikes!
And even the possibility of doing that, it's something we do not want to have. We want this to be kind of something that you can own and be completely assured of it that you own. And because it doesn't have decimals, so when you have one lucky, you have the one lucky, and then no matter how much do you have, but it's something that no one can take that away from you. And especially in a gambling scenario, when you get rewarded, you want to be able to own those tokens, so the casino can't come and, oh, you didn't actually win those tokens, let me take them back, and then you are rugged as a player. None of that. And then due to the liquidity pool structure, when people win those tokens and get the prizes, they can be assured that they can go to the social swap and just get whatever they want for those tokens. And those two like parts are something that are token wise, like things that consider the token. And then what we as a team can do is to develop software and use for the token. So it's like two sides of the same coin. It's the software side, and then there's the token side. But I think it's really powerful, and I like it. I have no problem amassing more luckies, because it's when they are with me, I know nobody can take those away from me.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And it's no burn away the keys. There is really power behind that. You know, make a project that has all the keys, and then make another which doesn't, and see which one people have easier time trusting.
Yeah, it definitely makes a statement.
And it kind of shows that we don't really need any of those keys to create use cases for tokens, and we use just the basic. We use the basic send transaction. It's the cheapest one on Hedera. Smart contract calls, they cost more HBARs, but we use the simplest way. It's just send us tokens, and then if you win, we send them back. It's really like elegant how it works.
Makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
Nice.
But there's
well, Lucky, if there's anything else you'd like to say or to shill about your project,
say people to.
You've already said so much.
Check out our Twitter and Discord. It's lucky_HTS is the Twitter handle. So you can find links to other media from the description there. And I thank you.
We'll drop all the links down below.
Thank
you.
you so much for letting me in, and it was so nice to come and talk about things from my perspective. And I hope people get interested and come with questions to me and to us to ask about the project. I think that's something that I'm prepared to. But thank you, and
love to hear.
Have a nice evening.
Of course. Thank you, Lucky, for coming on our podcast. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Alt Kings podcast, and we will see you next episode. Peace.